Hey guys, it's author SC Vincent again, and I'm here to talk about some of the comics in my collection. And because I've been buying a lot of comic books recently, I've been getting back into it. I've been getting into the whole comic skate thing. Um, it's very interesting, a lot of interesting comics, entertaining, um, and I love the art. When I first started as a kid, first started writing, I was drawing comics and I was writing stories for them. I was drawing my own. It didn't work out. I wasn't as good as I wanted to be, but I thought I would share my collection today, or at least part of it. Um, but first, let's take a look at my books for sale, just to do a little shilling. Um, Here is my link tree where you can see all my social media and all the books I have for sale, which is available on my Twitter. But to focus on one thing, it'd be The Sakura Element. It's a young adult science fiction book. It is a love story and an action adventure story about um, two people facing odds, discrimination in a world where that looks down on them in some, or have expectations of them that they can't meet. And they find solace in each other. Um, as you can see here, Adam Dubois, the man in the red hair, and Oka Ladole, the modified human, here, she has to. He challenges her to fight in a series of fencing battles at school in order to prove herself, and he has to defend his heritage from a conspiracy. Um, that's kind of a short gist of it. That is a that is Jason. He is part of the love triangle here, and they're all fighting each other and fighting themselves. That's kind of what this represents. It is a about 300 something page book, so it's pretty fairly priced and short compared to some of the other ones. But it's not too long, not too short. But I just wanted to let you know about that one. So let's get back to my collection. So I have quite a few. I'm only going to show off a little bit today. Some of these I read a long time ago, and I don't remember them as well because I was collecting comics for quite a bit there, and then like all the Marvel movies and DC movies started off, and I kind of fell off because even back then I was getting a little overexposed by it, and I was kind of getting tired of the traditional superhero stuff. Because I found it was just too difficult to get into, and I was getting more into anime and manga because chapter one and then the final chapter. That's all you need. There's no confusing multiple universes, reboots or anything. It's much easier to get into manga than it is American comics for the most part, especially when it comes to superhero stuff. But I have some like self-contained stories here that I have that we can talk about. Now, to talk about V for Vendetta, I saw the reason why I bought this was because back in the day, they made a movie based off of it, and that's how these live action movies did serve a purpose in that they did introduce the mass public who wasn't reading comics into the comic original version. And that's how I heard of this, I believe. Very unique art by, David Lloyd or Alan Moore. I'm not the most knowledgeable, but I know Alan Moore. People say a lot of stuff about Moore. Um, you know, what can you say? He's allowed to say all the stuff he can say because he's made so many classics in the past. So I mean, what are you gonna do? Um, Once you write V for Vendetta, or once you write a Watchmen, then maybe you can say shut up. But most people haven't. You know, the scene is right here. I think is this the scene where she gets her head shaved, or is that before? But the art's really good and the story's really good. I don't remember. I need to reread it actually. I haven't read it in a long time. Um, but yeah, that's a good one. That's a classic. You gotta check that one out. Um, and then there's, let's see, Focus. Batman Year One. This one's great. By Frank Miller. Great art, great writing. This is kind of like one of those comic books where they base all the like adaptations off of. You'll see elements of this book. This is one of the most famous Batman stories. It's an origin story. So, like the original Batman movie, all of them. I mean, Nolan, the ones he directed, has taken elements from this. A lot of them have. So, I mean, if you kind of look at that art here, let's see, it's awesome. This is great stuff. You know, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm kind of, let's see, focus. I'm kind of a DC guy, but I do have some Marvel stuff. Great. That's perfect. That's not gonna mess up anything. I do have some Marvel stuff, such as Daredevil, Born Again. I was also trying to get into Marvel and some of the more minor superheroes. Some of the, and, you know, this was before I had this before any of the like modern Marvel movies or TV shows. I don't even watch any of that stuff. So this was another good story. You know, when I was trying to look into get into any of this stuff, it was like, well, what's the best of the superheroes that I'm interested in? And so everyone would suggest certain Batman stories or certain Daredevil stories, and this was one of them. I remember liking it, but I don't know when this one came out, when this series of comics came out, but that reminds me of The Killing Joke a little bit. Right, that panel right there. But, which I don't have. Another Alan Moore I don't have. And I have like, I think I don't have that, yeah. And I have like a lot of the Batman, like really classic stuff that you need to read. Well, I have some of it. Like this. Everyone has this. Batman, The Dark Knight Returns. I love this one. This one was printed on really good paper too. But this is another Miller. He's gotten kind of crusty, his art nowadays. I think he did that Wolverine cover. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. This is Old Man Batman, which you see elements of in like the third Batman movie, Nolan's Batman movie. Look at Batman there on a horse. I love that. This is a really good story. Has the Green Arrow in it. I think Batman and Superman fight in this as well. Yep, I love that part. Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, kind of has this aspect of it right there. You gotta love this one because he kind of puts Superman in his place, and well, that's the very end. But I mean, if you've I mean, I don't think I can spoil that. I mean, it's ancient, but he kind of shows Superman what's what, and then he's alive. He thinks he plays dead, but he's actually alive at the end. And then speaking of Superman, see if I can get some of the dust off these, because they've just kind of been sitting on my shelf. I have Superman for All Seasons by Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale. This one is a pretty good origin story as well. It's like, I mean, like I said, I was looking for kind of things that are good ways to enter the universe or the origin or a standalone story of the superheroes I was wanting to get into, and this was one of the ones that's recommended. And it starts off with him in Smallville, and I always liked, I liked the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeves, Superman 1 and 2. I also liked the TV show Smallville, so it started off in Smallville. This comic does, and it moves on to him and Superman. So this is pretty good. I think I remember liking it. The art's, look at that, the art's fantastic. I love the look at that streak. That's great. I love that streak in that follows him in the sky. It's like a rainbow. Imagine you're in a citizen of Metropolis, and you see that streak going across the sky, and you see that's Superman, and that means you're safe. That's how I imagine that would be like the ideal Superman movie. Not like the kind of stuff they've been making where like Superman's like this depressing figure, and you don't he's gonna destroy the city fighting Zod, and he's gonna kill people. The kind of Superman that I imagine has a much more optimistic and is more of an idealistic. It's not realistic. It's idealistic. That's how superheroes should be. They're the ideal person. That's why he's called Superman. He's above a man. He's someone you should aspire to be. That's kind of what I think Snyder and people who like his Superman and superheroes don't understand about these DC heroes is generally that they're not supposed to be grounded or down to earth like more of the Marvel heroes. They're supposed to be, like I just said, above us in a sense that we aspire to be them, and that's why we look up to them. So when you have the kind of realistic stuff that Snyder did, it doesn't make sense for the DC universe. Anyways, this is Comicsgate related. This is the last comic of the video. It is Wraith of God by Aaron Lopresti. Now I backed this, and I'll show some stuff off. It's the first Wraith of God. It's not the second one. I think the best thing about this was the art. The art is fantastic. Let's see here. Some good fight scenes right there. Look at that's a werewolf. Oh, what's on this side? The werewolf. bursting through the door. This is of course near the end, but I wanted to get you an action shot. And the only thing that kind of really, in terms of a review for this, I kind of saw the plot coming, all the plot twists. So in terms of story, because I've read this most recently, more recent than the other ones I showed you. So in terms of plot, like I kind of could see it coming, all the stuff, all the twists, and I thought like maybe Wraith would be more of a like mystical figure. From what I remember, I mean this might be entirely wrong. He's just someone who's pretending to be a mystical figure. Like he's a human. Let me check. Yeah, he's just exactly. He's someone in disguise, basically. So I thought, I mean, I was kind of hoping he would be someone more, but because when you think of Wraith, you think of someone who's dead, but he's just he's pretending to be a dead person. Like the person who he was died, people thought died, and then he's just coming back as like a superhero in the 1800s or something like that. So I thought the werewolf thing was cool, but the main character himself didn't really interest me, and I didn't really get I haven't read the other Lepresti characters like Garbage Man, so when there was like this twist at the end that took place in the future with these characters here, because I hadn't read the other ones in the universe, it really had no effect on me. So because of that, I really didn't get the next one. I don't know, I might change my mind. I might reread it, give it another chance, and because I like werewolves and I like vampires, so I might give it another shot if I like it on a second read. This one's at 17 minutes, so I'm just gonna show my book one last time. Please check out the Sakura Element if you like things like Pride and Prejudice, and Pride and Prejudice, and you like things like Revolutionary Girl Utena. If you like good character development, all that kind of stuff, then you're gonna love this story. So thanks for watching, and I'll probably do another comic video because I'm getting back into it. So anyways, thank you. See you next time.